Hey, what's going on, guys? Austin Distel here, and I'm today going to show you guys how you can work a room and get clients in your area. And so first off, I want to make sure that before you go and work a room, you've already niched down and you've found the group of people that you want to work with the industry. Whether it's dental or working with gyms or chiropractors, make sure that you find a niche in which you can relate. But today, I'm going to work through a few different ways to work a room. And also, what's the biggest mistake that you make when you are working a room so you come off not as salesy, but as a guy that they actually want to hang out with, and that's how you get them to hang out with you at Starbucks and go through a marketing plan and end up signing them as a high-ticket client. And so today we're going to go through everything from how to find your niche and also how to go out and meet people in your local area that are within that niche. We're going to talk about how to sign them up for a consultation in which you can get them in front of the right expert to sell. And then at the end, we're going to kind of talk through how you're going to use this info in all your case studies. We're going to talk through your marketing plan, your strategy session with them, and then how you can use that to do self-promotion and land more clients through social media. All of these tools add up together to making a consistent, fluid flow of all these clients asking you every month. So you don't have to be picky. You can be picky. You don't have to worry about getting a client and it being like pulling teeth. That's the last thing that you guys want. So let's start off by knowing what the right niche is to have. I always would say that you need at least a budget. If you're going to do Facebook ads, paid social media, you need at least a $1,500 per month client. Now, that's at least what we pitch at my marketing agency. Many of you guys might know Rohan. He is actually the guy that I've been working with now for about 1.5 years, and he's a great guy. Every single time that I send him a client of mine, we kill it. And so this is something I'm excited about because that allows me to pick my head up and focus on selling rather than actually getting caught up in the weeds. And that's really what you guys want to build, is a lifestyle business in which you can go and around the world and sell clients and then make sure you pass them off to the expert who's going to get them the results that they hope for. And so first off, guys, let's talk about finding your niche. So a niche is basically like a very select group of people that you want to work with every single day. You get excited about hanging out with these guys. If you guys were once a personal trainer and you're trying to find a career path, maybe a gym is a good place to go. I was pre-dental for the first 2 years in college at University of Georgia, and I ended up reading this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And after, I don't know, does Ty here have a Rich Dad, Poor Dad around here? Because that book changed my life. Literally the next day after reading that book, I changed my major to marketing. And so, guys, here's what I'm saying today is that I chose the dental niche because it's something I knew about before going in. Also, my mom's a massage therapist, so I go and try and help other massage therapists land more clients. I also have a lot of friends that are in e-commerce, and so I watch how their business is every day. I understand their pain points, and so finding and talking that language and finding clients that have those same problems is necessary and easy for me to get them results. And so that's the thing, is you want to find something in which you know a lot about in that niche, because it's going to make the whole process easy and you're going to hang out with people that you actually enjoy. So find a niche, and when you find that niche, you want to get to really know who they are. So create this customer avatar and think about what are the magazines that they like, what are the places that they hang out at, what are the restaurants that they can afford and you'll normally find them. What are the times of day that let's say your client is a dentist? It's pretty important to know that dentists often go out to like Panera Bread and bring their food back to the office and eat there. They're often not going out to, let's say, a steakhouse like Ruth's Steakhouse or something like that, and then going from there and trying to find your dental clients in a Ruth's Steakhouse. That doesn't work like that. So creating a customer avatar and knowing the types of person they are, the places that they eat at, the restaurants, even like think about what do they do on a Sunday. And what you want to do is surround yourself around the places that you'll most likely find your ideal client. Now, once you have this persona and you start start negotiating in your mind where you're going to plan out your week, try and get around that area all the time and create consistency. So if you know that, let's say, early in the morning, your chiropractor often always goes to the same Broken Egg, which is like a restaurant in which often people are eating and they're sharing ideas. We have a lot of those in Atlanta, and so I know that if I go in the morning every single day of the week with my computer that says, "Are you a chiropractor? I'd be glad to help you with your marketing strategy," on the back of your computer, that's going to get these people to just register your face with being a marketing expert in their area all the time. And so you can start to attract people to talk to you, which is the best kind of lead. See, guys, what I know is that what you chase eludes you. Think about this. If you're in a fishbowl and you're trying to reach around the bowl to catch a fish, that fish is trying to leave your hand. And so what you're chasing eludes you. What you really want to do is create a magnet into your life which finds the right clients for you. And so they're going to not only be more qualified because they're asking you for business, but you're also now the authority that can accept or deny them. So that eventually, when it comes down for the sale, these people are going to be asking for your business. "Hey, can you please help me?" instead of, "Hey, can I please help you?" See how that really changes the dynamic? That's what the power of inbound marketing and lead generation does. And so the way you can do this in person is basically just creating the persona around where they are all the time and making sure that you're getting in front of their eyeballs across all different places. What are the radio stations that they listen to? And try and get on that radio station to talk about digital marketing for chiropractors or whatever your niche is. And so that's what I do all the time to find my clients, is try and get in front of their face just in casual ways. What are ways that I can get in front of them? So now that you found your niche, what you need to do is start creating value for free of that niche. So step number 2 in landing clients in person is creating a free value. Now, what that could be is like an ebook or a little brochure, or it could be like a training series or like a DVD or any of those kind of things. And what you want to do is be very specific with what you're helping them with. So if, let's say, your niche is chiropractors, then what you want to do is create a chiropractic DVD all about social media marketing. And that's what's going to be really cool, is when it's so specific, they're like, "Wow, this person really understands what my needs are." And that makes you now an authority on the subject. And as you start producing content about that subject, they're going to now think of you whenever they come into that problem. So create a free value, because when you go into the first conversation, you want to give that to them and say, "Hey man, I'd be glad to help you out on that. You know what, actually, I have a free ebook on how you can actually do this yourself." And so I give them free value. And what my personal consultations are is just a free consultation. I'm going to give you all the knowledge I have. I actually don't believe that you can outgive. And so when I go into a meeting, I'm actually trying to give them as much information that they can do this on their own. And what they come to realize is that there's a lot of stuff out there and they get overwhelmed. And the place of overwhelm is an emotion that actually is very powerful. If you can control that overwhelm and give them a simple solution, and that they now feel less overwhelmed, they want to actually hire people that can give them that feeling. And so what I do is I build them up to say, "Wow, that's a lot of information overload, and I actually want to now just give you that because I don't want to learn all of that stuff." See, here's the value that you guys are giving, is time. You're not giving them social media marketing and lead generation. What you're giving them is time freedom back in their life. You're giving them predictability back in their life. You're giving them calm peace of mind, knowing that they can work on their business rather than in their business. See, here's what I know is that a lot of entrepreneurs, that whether they're in the gym business, they're orthodontic, they're dental, they're chiropractic, they know their field really well, but they get overwhelmed when they have to understand accounting, legal, social media marketing, lead generation, operations. All of that really clouds what their goals are. And so they end up trying to learn these things because their scarcity mindset. And so what you want to do is give them an abundance mindset. Hey, you're really good at this thing. Can't you tell you've built up this entire business? You want to really congratulate them and make them feel good around you. So I say, wow, you're an incredible chiropractor. Look at this huge business. Clients love you. Don't you want to get around that more often? And so really painting this photo of what life would be like if every day they were working on what they love, rather than trying to learn all of these other tactics out there. So make sure that you're giving them and empowering them and giving them a sense of nobility that they have created something great. And you don't want to distract from that. You don't want to say, well, don't you now want to learn accounting and marketing, all of these things? That's not what they want out of life. So give them a sense of peace and calm. Say, I can take this out of your hands so you can focus on what you really like. You didn't get into chiropractic business because you want to learn social media marketing and running an agency. No, you started a chiropractic business because you like to help people. So let me take that nonsense off of your hands and give you the life you really want. So I create a value and I solve their problem. You want to really understand what their biggest problem is and solve that biggest pain point with this value. And I give this in every opportunity I can. If it's an ebook or a DVD or whatever that is, I carry around those with me all the time. You want to come prepared wherever you go. And so whether it's a book bag or a duffel bag or whatever it is, just have a few laying around, because you never know. If you start to line out your week with where those people are going to be, all of a sudden now you might randomly, they'll approach you and say, wow, you're going to help orthodontists with their online marketing? I'm an orthodontist. Do you have any information? Be like, yeah. Actually, you know what? Why don't you have this free DVD? It's going to teach you a little bit about social media marketing, and I'll just get your contact info anyway, and if that was helpful, I'd be glad to talk more and maybe have a consultation. So that's one of the ways I develop lead generations within Starbucks and at BNIs and all those sorts of things as well. So once you create value, now we got to figure out how are we going to deliver that value. So here's what I do. I go to places like a BNI. This is a global organization that's in almost every zip code, and they team up with the Chamber of Commerce in cities. And this stands for Business Networking International. Now, it's about $600 a year to be a part of this group, and only one of each profession is allowed in the room. And so if, let's say, you're a real estate agent, your client's a real estate agent, only one real estate agent is allowed in the room at a time. Only one real estate agent is allowed to be the member of that local chapter. Now, I don't really know if I like that structure, so I'm not a member, but here's the cool thing, is that there are abilities to go to these things because there's a minimum number of days that you can miss a year. See, once you take up a membership spot in one of these BNIs, you actually have to attend every single week. That's pretty hard as a business owner, and so often they're looking for somebody to come and represent them. So if you get on that list, now you can actually get into these BNIs all the time by representing their business for them, and now you also have an in to talk about your business. And so that's creating value for somebody else as well, where now they feel have the freedom, they have an out not to go to this networking event, and they can give you the opportunity to be a placeholder for them. Now, you can also go to a BNI as a guest for 2 times. I use this all the time. There's probably 20 chapters in Atlanta where I'm from, and I'll just do a rotation every couple weeks to each one. And often they're at different times of the week, so I'll end up at probably 3 to 4 of these every week. And I find these on a thing called meetup.com. And anybody can hold a meetup. I'll get to that here in a couple minutes, but you can go to other meetups. So BNI is one version of a networking group, but there's tons of meetups in your area all the time. So when you're in a BNI or a networking group or whatever it is, maybe a cocktail hour, that's personally where I thrive best. Get a drink in me, we'll have a drink together and we'll cheers and we'll just chat it up and cut up about online marketing and what your business is and how I can maybe connect you with somebody else in the room. I'm always trying to provide value for people in the room and being that connector. And they'll end up doing the same. And so if you guys haven't already, I highly recommend you read a book by a guy named Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and influence people. I would say that this is the #1 book that has completely changed my life. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I highly recommend that you guys get this book. And so one of the strategies in this book is that a man's favorite word is his name. So I'm constantly saying their name. And have you guys ever been in that situation where you shake their hand and immediately when they say their name, you've already forgot it? Well, maybe what you want to do is write down their name or say it back to them right away. So, hey, Austin Distel, nice to meet you. And they say, oh, my name is John Little. Nice to meet you too. I say, hey, John, so tell me about John. What do you do? And I say that just a few times to get it locked in my head. Don't do it overly and weird, but just throughout the conversation, say their name a few times because then it'll get locked in your head and they also perk up every time they hear their name. So that's a good little trick that it builds rapport pretty quickly. One of the other things, so first one obviously is say their name a lot. Tip number 2 is called mirroring. Mirroring is a strategy where when you're in rapport with somebody, you end up having the same vibration as them, the same posture, the same energy. And so if you can tell maybe that they're in an energy of like a 1 or a 2, maybe they're like an introvert, right? You don't want to go up like crazy having fun. What you want to do is go in and match their energy. And if you're just an energetic person like I am, I slowly try and bring up their energy to match mine. And so when they start to copy my movement, I know that I'm in rapport. And so let's say that we're sitting down. I'm going to bring a chair in here. Is that cool, guys? So when I am with them on the couch and they're sitting back like this, and let's say they're sitting and they're, let's say, on their phone or something, I'm going to notice them. I'm going to try and, talk to them in here in a second. I'm going to try and figure out something that I can compliment him on. And I'm going to say, oh, dude, those are sick shoes. And he's like, yeah, dude, like, where'd you get them? Awesome. Well, if he's on his phone, then I'm probably going to just start on my phone, compliment him, and then maybe that'll start up a conversation. I'll be like, hey, by the way, dude, what do you do? And from there, he'll start telling me more about what he does. And I'll try and think about ways to add value and ask him about his or her business. Now, from there, I'm going to start trying to be a little more engaged. And so when I'm now matching, I'll do something small to change my position. And if they do the same thing, I know I'm growing up to building rapport. Now, once we start turning and opening up my posture, this is now showing them that, like, wow, I'm really interested. And you want to continue asking questions. Whoever asks the most questions controls the conversation. See, experts are always asking questions and they're always trying to figure out how can they help you. And so you'll also be a great conversationalist by asking them a lot of questions because they're going to say, wow, I'm talking about myself a lot. They love that. And actually, by the end, they're going to think, this is one of the coolest conversations I've ever had. I don't even know who this guy is, but he's a really friendly guy, and he just loves to help. So I'm going to try and figure out ways to interact with him. And you want to ask open-ended questions, not something that's a yes or no. You want to get them talking, and you actually want to try and find something that's deep in their life, something that they really like. So let's say I ask him, like, hey, so what are you looking forward to most this weekend? Maybe he'll say, oh, yeah, I'm going to go paragliding this weekend. Obviously, paragliding is something that he is really excited about. And so I'm going to say, no way, dude. I actually love to go paragliding myself. I went up there in Tennessee last weekend as well. Where do you go? What's the coolest place you've ever been paragliding or whatever it is? And I continue down that conversation. And so I'm not even talking about business. I'm just winning friends here. So as I go down this rabbit hole, what they end up finding is that they just created a great friendship. And eventually, when you start asking a lot of questions, they'll try and figure out what you do as well. And so by the end, if I know that I am now matched with their personality and their personality matches mine, we're in rapport, that's the point where maybe you want to go ahead and schedule a consultation. But I'm always, here's the #1 thing people miss out on. I'm going to bring this back now. So one of the things that most people miss out on in sales is that they go in trying to sell at the event. Don't do that, guys. The point of an event is not to get them as a client at that event. I don't know if you guys caught that. You might want to write it down again, because this is something that I've seen flawed in every single meetup, is people are trying to throw business cards at each other to try and land them as a client at the event. Worst thing that you can do in the world. What you want to do is just book a meeting. See, here's what I know is it's not about at the event getting the sale. It's about getting the friendship. That allows you to continue on the conversation. And so when you're at the event, all you want to do is set up the next meeting. And whether that's a casual meeting or a consultation where you're actually giving value, no sales. But the ultimate goal is just to get their contact info as a friend and try and provide value throughout the event. Whether that value is connecting them with somebody that's important, or, I don't know, sharing with them cool locations to go paragliding if that's what they're into. And so it's all about creating friendship and rapport. So remember, it's not about sales, it's about friendship. That's the number one thing you're going to get out of this training is help, not sell. Do not sell, go into help. It's the number one thing people miss when they go network in events. So guys, remember to always give, give, give. I'm not finished yet. We're going to continue giving. So give, give, give. I want to make sure that you guys are always giving, and that's online. You want to connect with them as many parts as possible. So get on Instagram with them and give them content over and over again. You want to make sure that you're giving them context as well of why you deserve their attention. See, over time, as you start to show how you're an expert around their field, they're eventually going to ask for your business. They're going to inquire, hey, I noticed that not only are you you're working the chiropractic space, you're also always helping other people. Do you think that you could maybe help me with, running my social media for my chiropractic business? And I'll be like, yeah, dude, be glad to help out. Maybe I'll share some pointers with you, and, and he'll ask maybe for your business. And that's where it comes in. You can actually say, yeah, it might be a good fit. Let's talk it over and see if that works well. I'm never trying to ask for their business. I'm trying to lead them up to where they're asking me to take them on as a client. Yeah, that's not sales. That's just helping. And so during the consultation, I'm going to make sure that I'm delivering as much value as possible. Here's my methodology, guys. I go in to the consultation, and I want to write out exactly what I would do for them. And at the end of the consultation, I say, can't you see how well this works? I show them case studies over and over again of how we've done this exact model for them in the niche that they're doing. And if it's a local thing in a different zip code because it's not their competitor, and I give them step by step exactly what we've been doing that's delivering results. And I say, can't you see how well this works? And they're going to say, yeah, I can see how well that works. And I say, great, well, you kind of have three options at this point. Well, you can do this yourself and learn how to set up all your online marketing. You can try and figure out how to run Facebook ad campaigns, setting up landing pages, understanding how to do retargeting and all this techno mumbo jumbo. And you can learn that. And you can actually implement my blueprint right now, and you can go ahead and figure this all out. That's the first thing that you could do. The second thing that you could do is take the blueprint I just gave you and go and get somebody else to do this. And you're welcome to do that. You're welcome to do that. You can actually find somebody that's maybe cheaper than I am, and I'd be glad to give you that. Go ahead and find somebody. But here's what you're going to come into is that they might know how this strategy works in the big picture. And so the third option that you could do is you could actually have me run all of this for you. And actually, I already have this built. All I would have to do is change up some of the titles, make it all about you, and really make this creatively about your business versus somebody else's. And we know that this works step by step. We already have case studies. And so I could actually implement this formula for you, and we actually guarantee results. And if we don't get the results that we have gotten for our other clients for you, I'll give you your money back. And so I would say about 95% of the time, if they can afford me, they'll go with me. And so that's what I always lead with, guys, is giving value, building up rapport, and creating friendship. and then saying, here's exactly what I would do for you. And you have three options. Do it yourself, have somebody else do it for you, or I can do it for you. But the best results that you're going to get is if I do it for you. And so that's how I sell, guys. It's about building rapport in a room, getting them to understand that you're the expert. And as you get more case studies, this becomes so much easier to sell. I'm no longer selling. It's almost my results sell themselves. So I don't even have to be pushy in a consultation. Now, sometimes you're going to get stuck. They might even ask a hard question. Maybe they're a little bit techie. Maybe they know some things, and you're just starting off, and you don't know how to answer it. Well, I have the perfect phrase for you guys that get stuck in that conversation. Well, he might say, well, do you guys pixel and use UTMs to track different campaigns? And if you guys are just first starting, you're like, I don't know how to answer that. Well, if you get stuck, here's what you just say calmly. Be like, you know what, that's a great question. I'm really just on the front end. I help clients. I give the overall strategy. But I have technicians that are experts in making sure all the levers get pulled correctly. And so why don't I go ahead and ask that expert, or maybe I can even get him on the phone call today and answer that question for you. So if he can't actually get on the call, if you're a technician that you're outsourcing your work to, or maybe you just don't know how to do this, be like, I will be happy to go and figure that out actually for you. That's a great question to ask. And so I'll go ahead and find that. You don't have to be the expert. Just introduce them to the expert. So guys, if you get stuck, be like, hey, that's a great question. You know, I don't know it myself, but I'll bring in my expert who is very techie, and he can go ahead and answer that for you. So if I don't know it today, I'm going to make sure that I get that to you tomorrow. So it's okay if I follow up with that answer? They're always cool with it. All right, so now that you are at the end of the consultation, you want to make sure that either way, if you end up helping them or not, you ask for referrals. I'm going to probably spell this word wrong. I always do. So I don't have spell check on a whiteboard. I'll give you guys an honest thing. You don't have to be smart to make money. I literally have autocorrect help me all the time. And so here's what I want you guys to know is that when you're going into this whole thing, it might be scary, but guys, you can learn everything. And that's what I like is in this course, you're going to learn step by step what to do. So at the end of a consultation, ask for at least 3 referrals. Say, hey, I want to just make sure that I give you guys I want to make sure that I give you, my friend, as much value as possible. Do you know anybody else that this might help as well? And they're going to give you a few names. And here's what I always do. Actually, I didn't even talk about this, guys, but I want to make sure that you guys are always writing things down. So make sure that you're writing down the entire consultation. I actually have a PDF that I walk through every single time. So it's structured, it's predictable, and I can actually just ask the question that's on the line, such as, well, what's your current cost per acquisition? And I have that on the line, so I know what part of my consultation to ask that, and I write that answer down. So by the end of the consultation, I basically read back everything that we talked about very quickly, and I just say, basically at the end, what are the 3 referrals that you maybe could give me? And I'll write down their contact info at the bottom of this consultation cheat sheet. So every single time, guys, you want to make sure that you're prepared in a consultation. Go step by step down the line with all of the questions that you need, and at the end, have the proposal ready to take their card. Always be sure to ask for the sale in the same way that I brought it up earlier. I can either do this for you, have somebody else, or do it yourself, but make sure that you ask for the sale. Does that sound fair enough? And say, yeah, that sounds fair. Cool. What is it going to be, cash or card or a check? They write out that now. Be great. Cool. Do you feel like this could help anybody else? Get that contact info, and there you go. You're moving on to the next client. So referrals are always the great way to segue into somebody else. I also do referrals and networking all the time. I call this tap rooting. So I am always tap rooting conversations. Let's say I'm working a room and I'm at a cocktail hour. I'm going to try and find the most influential person in the room, people that are trying to talk to them. And I'll say, hey, after a great conversation, I've built up rapport, who is the most influential person you know in this room? Could you make an introduction for me? And I'm always getting them to introduce me to the next person. That way I'm not trying to go and shake hands with somebody and introduce myself. I have other people introduce for me. And they're going to always tell them what I do. That's a great segue so that you are already coming off as an expert in the beginning. People are referring you to other people, even if psychologically they're not referring your business, they're referring you as a person. So I go and taproot a room, and I use these case studies now, and I create my own meetup.com events. So go to meetup.com, create your own event, and what you want to do is make it very specific, and in the headline, talk about what they're going to learn. So let's say I'm in Atlanta, and I host a meetup that is digital marketing for chiropractors, let's say. Well, I'm going to say in this, are you a chiropractor? And then I'm going to say, learn how to get leads on your own through online marketing at this event, free of charge. You're going to learn this, 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 and this, and you're going to network with other professionals. There's no pitch at the end, so they don't feel like they're getting sold. This is not corporate sponsored or anything like that. And just let them know what to expect and what they're going to take away from that event. And so what you want to do, you could even push this meetup event or an Eventbrite event through Facebook ads, targeting that, that niche in your area, try and getting them to attend this event. Now here's where the magic happens. Not only does that position you as the expert, you're also developing value amongst the crowd, and these are all a perfect audience of who you want as clients yourself. And so at the end, you can network with them. You're going to actually probably have people coming up to you asking to be your client. So at the end, you can just say, hey, by the way, we get results for chiropractors all the time, and we'd be happy to take on 3. You want to always make sure that you have spots available. So at the end, you say, hey, I have 3 spots available this month for 3 chiropractors that are looking to 10x their practice here in the next 30 days. So we're only taking 3. Make sure if that sounds like something that you are interested in, go ahead and talk to me after the event, guys. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. Blah, 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 blah. Come up to me afterward. So at the meetup event, I always make sure I get a videographer there. Make sure you hire somebody for video/photo, and you can now use this as content to deliver to your audience. Maybe you have an email list being built up. So now not only are you using these meetup events in person, you can use this maybe to collect and get new clients across the world. And so guys, with this formula, you're networking at events, you're shaking hands, you're taking names, you're booking consultations, and at the end, you want to just basically become best friends with all of the people in your niche, in your local area, and use this content that you're creating, which is, obviously the content is knowledge, and then it's results through your case studies, and promoting that online. Eventually, you start building up a funnel and start pretty much getting a lead generation automation set up for you every month, where you can do Facebook ads towards these people using your own content that you've done at this event, giving them case studies, building all this rapport online, and now you can work anywhere in the world and actually still get clients asking for your business, guys. So that's step-by-step how you can work a room, get clients, and then use that same setup to work online and self-promotion. So remember, guys, step number 1, find your niche. Step number 2, create value. Step number 3, you want to make sure that you're giving value online and in person. So this is basically just like the same thing, except you want to repurpose the value from being an in-person thing. So I'm working a room. I'm basically trying to introduce them to people. And instead of creating just value in person, this one would be online, like repurposing. Step number 4, you want to make sure that you're attending a lot of events in your local area and hosting events. So event marketing is huge. Also, if your niche has or hosts like a society, like let's say you're a chiropractor, there's a society of chiropractors, go there and be like a host at a table. Make sure you're attending all of those and just getting your face around that community. Step number 5, help them, don't sell them. So make sure you're not selling an event or in person. You're just going there and helping and giving as much value as possible. Step number 6 is in the consultation, you make sure you write down everything. You're not the expert. You can point to the expert. You can say, oh, yeah, we get all of these case studies all the time. We know what we're doing. It's predictable. It's peace of mind. You want to kind of flood them with information in the beginning, but not where you're talking too much. What you really want to do is ask them a lot of questions, control the conversation, and then what you want to do is show them the results that you're getting, talking about how you're getting them. So whether that's a Facebook ad strategy, Google AdWords, SEO, social media management, whatever that is, and let them know it's a lot of work. Don't go too in depth. Don't be all techie because you don't want to show like you're that back-end internet marketing magic. No, that makes them, I don't know, feel like you're trying to do that techno babble. It actually loses rapport. So what you really want to do is build rapport back up by saying, here's how I'm going to help you, and continue on through the conversation saying, this is exactly how. Give them the entire case study. Step number 6. We got 6. Oh, no, that was the consultation. So step number 7 is meetups, right? In meetups, you're going to host your own meetup, get a film crew there, photography there, and a meetup.com. You can repurpose that online. And the number 9 was do promotions. So promotion, right? At the end of all of this, what you're going to do is in-person value, repurpose that, sell it, and what you'll end up doing is creating a stream of leads that is asking for your business. You're not asking for theirs, and it makes this whole thing so much easier, guys. So I hope you got a lot of value out of this. My name is Austin Distel. I've been running online businesses for a while, and this is a foolproof plan that I found to get consistent clients every month, guys. You all take it easy. I'll see you on the inside.